Well, students, in the last lecture, we have just started with binomial lattice model. We told that the model works with the assumption of efficient market hypothesis, which says that the current price of a stock always reflects all available informations and will change only with the arrival of new information. With this assumption, we will never worry about the past history of the stock. We only start with what is the present price of the stock and we'll worry about what is the future of the stock. Let's try to build the model. Let the present price of the stock be S naught and the time is taken to be T equal to 0. So since the stock has no maturity, we take the duration of the holding period of the stock to be the semi-infinite interval 0 to infinity. Now we partition the interval 0 to infinity into equal parts. Say this is T naught, T1, T2, T3 and so on. So we take a typical interval tk to tk plus 1 and we will try to first build the one-step binomial lattice model. So we will take tk to tk plus 1 and build a one-step binomial model for any k is equal to 0, 1, 2 and so on. And then we will see how to build a multi-level binomial model. So in this, let the stock price be Sk at T is equal to Tk. Let Rk be the interest rate for the period Tk to Tk plus 1. So the idea is generally to compare the price of the stock with the prevailing interest rate and decide accordingly. Next, we will take two numbers dk and uk. This can be interpreted as down and up, be such that 0 less than dk is less than 1 plus rk is less than uk. This condition is called the no arbitrage condition. We'll talk about it later for why it is called no arbitrage condition. If this is a compound interest, that is discrete compound interest, if it is a continuous compound interest, then we take 0 less than dk less than e to the power of minus rk is less than rk. That is for continuous compound interest, no arbitrage condition is this. Okay. I'll talk about why it is called no arbitrage later. Let us try to go ahead with the model building. As I told in the last class, the model is all about assuming that if you start with a price Sk, it asks what is the probability that either it will touch Sk into UK or it touches Sk into dk. Okay, so you are given a prevailing interest rate, say either it is Sk into 1 plus Rk or Sk into e power minus Rk into Tk plus 1. The question is, what is the probability? So we will first construct a probability space. For the one-step binomial lattice model, we take the sample space. So let's call it as Sk as So you have two possibilities. Either you will be taking this or this. It's like tossing a coin. The outcome is either the head or the tail. Similarly, here you have either up movement or down movement. Of course, it's a finite set. Therefore, the sigma field is the power set. So this forms a sample space. Now, what is the probability measure defined on it? Recall that it is a discrete probability Pk of singleton set. So if you want to define a discrete probability, you just have to define it on all the possible singletons, right? So this is equal to, say, Pk if S is equal to Uk and 1 minus Pk if S is equal to Dk. Now, this is how we develop the probability space where Pk is some number between 0 and 1. Okay. Also define a random variable xk plus 1 of S is equal to sk into S for S belongs to the script sk. Okay, so this is a script sk. This is the usual letter sk. I think there is a confusion in the notations. Whenever I talk about the sample space, this is script sk, whereas this is our stock price sk, which I will write like this. So what is the broad idea of the single step binomial lattice model is that the stock price at time t is equal to tk plus 1 is taken to be sk plus 1 is equal to our xk plus 1. That is the random variable. So therefore, the stock price at tk plus 1 is a random variable. Okay. And of course, this is given the stock price at t equal to tk. What is that? That is sk. So the broad idea is you are given sk. So your sk plus 1 is taking either this with probability pk, or it takes this value at probability 1 minus pk. Okay, so that's the idea. It means the probability sk plus 1 is sk uk with probability pk, or it is sk plus 1 is equal to sk dk with probability 1 minus pk. So this is the broad idea of binomial lattice model. We have to define this with appropriate values of dk, vk and pk. See, rk and sk are given to us. Rk comes from our money market, that is the market where you can invest without any risk, that is risk-free investment, something like bond. And sk comes from your equity market, the current market price. The model says that you may somehow have to get your values of dk, uk and pk and then go to define your stock like this. Okay, so that is the idea. Let us see an example. Let the prevailing interest rate be given by 6%, that is R is equal to 0.06, and the stock price at T equal to 0 is given by, say, 750 rupees. Please note that the interest rate is taken per annum. So it means we have 750 rupees at t is equal to 0. And suppose you are given that the stock either touches 1260 or it touches 675. Okay. So what you are given through this, you are given U, you are given D, and you are asked to find the probability. Now, the question is, what is the probability, but from the options pricing point of view, often we will be looking at a setup like this, where you are given the interest rate, you are given S naught, you are given U and D, and then you are asked to find what is the corresponding probability. It is based on a criteria called fair game criteria. What it says is that the expected present value should be equal to the present stock price. The expected present value should be equal to the S naught. So let us see what is the present value of these two numbers, and then we will find the expected present value. For this, let us use the continuous compounding interest scheme. Similarly, you can use the discrete compounding interest scheme also. Then the present value of 1260 with R is equal to 0.06 is given by 1260 into e to the power of minus 0.06, right? And that is approximately equal to 1186.62. And similarly, the present value of 675 is given by 675 into e to the power of minus 0.06. There is a t, and t is taken to be 1 year, as I told previously. Therefore, we take this to be into 1. That is approximately equal to 635.69. Now we apply the fair game criteria, which says that the expectation of the present value. What is the expectation of the present value? It is 186.62, and this is when the stock touches the upper value, right? So that probability is P. Okay, if it is kth period, then we generally denote it by K here, PK, but for the sake of simplicity of the notation, we drop that suffix K and write it plus 635.69, and that happens, that is the down price happens with probability 1 minus P. Okay, so this is the expected present value, and that should be equal to S naught. That is what the fair price criteria says. So S naught is 750. That's what we have taken. It is equal to 750. You can now find what is P. P is approximately equal to 0.2075. Okay, so that is the probability. You can see that it is it's a number less than 1 but greater than 0. This is called the risk neutral probability. Let us give a general expression for risk neutral probability. We will derive it for the continuous compounding with prevailing interest rate as R. Similarly, you can do for discrete compounding also. Given U and D and S naught, it means you are given S naught, you are given this price, which is S naught into U. You are given this price, this is S naught into D, and also given the prevailing interest rate R, such that since we are using the continuous compound interest, we have e to the power of RT, where the duration is given by capital T, and that should be less than U. So this is the no arbitrage condition that we take. Similarly, if you are working with discrete compounding, then it should be 1 plus RT, or if T is 1, then it is 1 plus R. Note that R is per annum interest rate. Now let S1 be the stock price at T is equal to capital T as per the one step binomial lattice model. Then the expectation of S is E of S1 is equal to, see, S1 is a random variable that takes two values, S naught U with probability P plus S naught D with probability 1 minus P, right? So that is how this S1 is defined. Now the fair game criteria says that the present value of E of S1 is equal to the value of the stock at time t equal to 0. The present value is nothing but the discounted value as per the continuous compound. Okay, if it is discrete compounding, then you have to discount it accordingly. With continuous compounding, it is E of S1 into e power minus RT, that is equal to S naught. Now, what is our expected value? The expected value is S naught U minus S naught D into P equal to S naught into e to the power of RT. I'm bringing this to the other side minus D. Right? So S naught gets cancelled and you have P is equal to e power RT minus D divided by U minus T. So this is your risk neutral probability. You can see that P lies between 0 and 1 because of no arbitrage condition. So far, we have seen the binomial model for one period, that is one step binomial model. Now, let us see how to construct multi-step binomial model. The idea of multi-step binomial model can be viewed as tossing several coins or tossing a single coin several times. Of course, each tossing should be assumed to be independent of the other tossing. However, this is not perfectly applicable in the reality. This assumption has to be made for theoretical purpose. Let's start with t equal to 0 and one can apply one-step binomial lattice model sequentially to reach the tk plus 1. Such an approach is what is called the multi-step binomial model. Let us illustrate it with two-step model. Then we will generalize it to n steps. Assume that you bought a stock at t is equal to 0 and you decide to hold the stock till the time t equal to capital T. Therefore, the period of the stock is the interval 0 to capital T. Assume that this period is subdivided into two intervals. That is, consider the period T naught which is equal to 0 and T1 which is equal to capital T by 2 and T2 equal to capital T. That is the partition that we are taking. That is, the interval 0 to T is just bisected for a two-step method, and basically you have to give the probability space. For that, you need a up and down of the stock at each time step. Let us draw the lattice diagram. At t equal to 0, at the initial stage we have S naught, and then for the first time level t is equal to t by 2, we have two possibilities, S naught of U naught and S naught of D naught. And then from each possibility for time t2 equal to capital T, we have further two options. One is the up option. Let us call this, whether this or this, as S1. That is, S1 will take value S naught U naught with probability P, and S1 takes value S naught D naught with probability 1 minus P. That is the meaning, where S1 is the stock price at t equal to T1. The next time level, you have S1 U1 or S1 D1. Let's call this as probability P1 P naught and 1 minus P naught, and this is with probability P1 and this is probability 1 minus P1. And similarly, you have this is S1 U1, the same, but in the first part you got this, and in the second part you have this with probability P1. That is, this is the conditional probability S1 D1. okay, with the probability 1 minus P1, right? So that is my S2, which is, now how will you write this? Let us come to this little later. First, let us try to construct the probability space for this. The sample set S2, because this will happen to be the product space, is nothing but S naught, that is this level. This is the sample set S naught, script S naught cross, this is S1, right? So either this or this. This is your sample set S1. So this is nothing but either you will go to U naught and then you will go to U1, that is one possibility, or you will go to U naught and then you go to D1, that is another possibility, or you go to D naught and then U1, or D naught and D1. So these are the possible outcomes of your experiment. Therefore, your sample set is this. These are the possible outcomes. The sigma field is always taken to be the power set because it's a discrete probability. In fact, it's a finite sample set. Now, what is the probability measure defined on this? Generally, on the product space, if you recall, we defined the probability as P1 of S1, P2 of S2. Okay, so when you write this, there is an important point that you have to keep in mind, that each experiment is independent of the other. Okay, this may not be true in practice, but theoretically we have to take this assumption, otherwise we cannot build the probability space. What is your S? S is any outcome of your experiment which has two levels. S1 can be either you know we can call it as S0 and S1, okay, and S is S0, S1, where S0 belongs to the first step, and that is first period, and S1 belongs to the second period. Okay, so S0 can be either U0 or D naught, because these are the two outcomes in the first step, and this can be U1 or D1. This is in the second period. So this is how we construct the probability space. The same idea will go with any n steps. Now, how the random variable is defined? Once you define the random variable, then S2 is, that is this expression is nothing but that random variable. Okay, so I can just write S2 itself directly, but generally in probability we denote random variables with notation X. Therefore, I am just putting that notation and then saying S2 is equal to X, just to give you a clear idea notationally. So for a given S naught, sorry, this is the stock price, S naught greater than 0. This is script. So let me not write like this. Let me write like S naught. I hope in the notes the notation is clear. In the exam also, when you write, you better write the script and ordinary S very clearly so that we can distinguish them. I'm sorry for giving the same letter for both. For a given S naught greater than 0, define the random variable like this. X of S is equal to, how will you define? You can see that the idea comes from here. Suppose you are going for this, you go as S1 D1, right? But what is S1? S1 in this case is nothing but S0 D0. Therefore, it is S0 D0 into D1. Therefore, S0 D0 D1. That is when this possibility happens. right? Therefore, if you have an element d0, d1, then let us call this as the vector s. Then s2 of s is s0 of each of its components, that is d0, d1. If s is taken as s1, s0, s1, then it is s0 into s0, s1. Okay. Again, sorry for the confusion in notation. It is s0 into small s0, small s1 for all s, which is equal to s0, s1, belongs to your product space. Yes, two-dimensional product space. This two represents two. If it is a n-step method, then the dimension is n. Okay, so therefore, similarly, if you go back and see, it is what is this? Here, your vector s is d naught u1. Okay, so in this case, it is s naught. Your vector small s is d naught comma u1. That is this vector. Okay, therefore d naught u1. Similarly, if you go here, this one is first you came through u1 and then went to d1, right? So it means your s is this vector. So therefore, here you will have s naught u naught d1. And the last one similarly is you went through u naught and then u1. Therefore, it is s naught u naught u1. So this is how the random vector x is defined like this. It is basically having 4 elements because as there are 4 elements in your sample set. Therefore, its range has 4 points. It's a discrete random variable. And as per two-step binomial lattice model, the stock price at t equal to capital T is defined as this random variable x. Therefore, S1, that the stock price at t equal to capital T itself is a random variable. Finally, that is what we wanted to say. Okay, now how to extend this idea to n dimension? Well, you don't need to put any extra effort. Wherever there are 2 components, you just put n components. So similarly, you can do 3-step method, 4-step method, whatever we ask, you can construct and show me that. For n-step method, the stock holding period is partitioned as T naught, which is equal to 0, T1 is equal to T by N, T2 is equal to 2T by N, and so on till Tn equal to capital T. So first you have to write the partition. Generally it is like this. And then the probability space is given by the sample space is the n-dimensional sample space like this, which is the sample space at the first level, sample space at the second level, sample space at the third level, and so on at the final level, which is the n minus 1th level to reach the stock at the nth level. That is how you have to read it. Little confusing because we start it with 0 and then the sigma field is the power set. You always write this whenever you construct the probability space. You have to give the complete information. Therefore, although it is just a formality, you just have to write this. Sorry, it is power set. It means the set of all subsets of script s to the power of n. And finally, the discrete probability is defined at every single 10 as the product of the probability of each step is k, right? This is again the assumption is that each step is independent of the other. It is like you are tossing a coin n times or tossing n different coins. Okay, each tossing is independent of the other. You have to think like that. The practical situation may not be like this, but one has to assume this. In order to use all these probability space tools, one has to assume this. Where S is S naught, S1 up to Sn is a possible outcome of your experiment. That is, it is an element in your sample set. Now, how the random variable is defined? The random variable is x of s, that is the vector s, because it is a map from your sample set Sn, n-dimensional set, to R, which is equal to the stock price at t equal to 0 times the multiple of all the components of S. They are either U's or D's. S is equal to S naught, S1 up to Sn belongs to N. Okay, this each one is either a U or a D. Okay, you have to remember that. And as per the n step binomial lattice model, the stock price at t is equal to capital T. Since we have subdivided it into n parts, it is denoted by Sn is actually equal to x. That is what the method says. Okay. Now, there are different ways you can find u's and d's and p, or given u's and d's, you may find p. Whatever way it's up to you how you will find is a different question. To summarize, the n-step binomial lattice model says that the stock price at the time t equal to capital T is given by the random variable defined like this, where random variable is defined on the product space Sn comma P, given like this. Okay, so that's overall the summary of the method. How you will find R generally comes from your money market, S naught generally comes from your equity market. But how will you find UIs and DIs? That is up to you. Different way people give to find. There are many ways that people give to find these UIs and DIs and the PIs. Okay, at least you given U and D, you know one very reasonable way of using is the risk neutral probability, which is very useful, especially in our option pricing models. Therefore, we are more interested in risk neutral probability for given R, S naught, UIs and DIs. Okay, but one can also find UIs and DIs.